Pitt traveled to Rutgers Thursday night, trying to stop a six-game slide, and that guy's going to learn how to stop a punch. Meanwhile, on the field at 7-3 Pitt, quarter two, John Ryan, Junior Green, the great catch, a 3-yard touchdown. It's 14-3 Panthers, and Majors saying win two. Yeah, I'd like that. Billy West, speaking of 2 yards out. It's 21-3 Panthers. Is it the full moon or is it national television? Still in the third, here comes Rutgers. Ray Lucas under pressure, and he's out of it. A 40-yard touchdown run, and just like that, it's 21-10. Rutgers within 11 and a chance. Same score in the fourth. And Lucas trying it again. This time, the full moon gets him. He fumbles it. It is recovered by Pitt. Johnny Majors, SportsCenter Fantasy. He says the team has improved 180 degrees since Game 2, and they win at 21-10. With the win, Majors avoids what would have been the longest losing streak of his career. The Knights hadn't had a turnover in their last 4 games. In this one,
muddy day in the Horseshoe in Columbus. And Jopa's team up 3-zip in the first quarter when Raymond Harris changes that. The 4-yard run, 7-3 Buckeyes. It was 7-6 in the second quarter. Brett Powers at quarterback. The play-action fake, the scramble, looking for the big playmaker, Joey Galloway. It's a touchdown, 17-6 Buckeyes. The Penn State offense struggling all day. Kerry Collins, woefully underthrown, picked off by Tim Walton. Paterno and Collins upset at each other. 17-6 Buckeyes at the half. More Buckeyes. Butler by Note from 3 yards out finds the corner. 24-6 Ohio State, and the Buckeyes still unbeaten overall, and the only unbeaten team in the Big Ten. It's the second Big Ten loss for the Nittany Lions. Now the pivotal game in the Big 8 Conference. Nebraska at Colorado. Huskers up 7-3 in the first. Frazier to Calvin Jones, who vaults in 14-3 Nebraska. Later in the quarter, Frazier to Corey Dixon, and some woeful coverage by Colorado, symbolic of their defense all season. It's a touchdown, 21-3 Huskers in the first quarter. In the second, Rashaan Salam, who had an excellent ball game, brings Colorado back, although a controversial call here, appeared to fumble before he got in the end zone. They rule a touchdown, 21-10.
Chris, Tommy Frazier can run the option, throw the ball. Here he gets 26 yards. But watch Colorado Sam Rogers, 245 pounds, land directly on Frazier's shoulder. Wow, but Frazier's tough. He comes back and plays later on.
Problem, though, today with Colorado's offense, simple. Cordell Stewart was horrible.
21-10, Nebraska led. Colorado cutting the lead to 4, getting the ball back and driving before an interception by Stewart seals it for Nebraska. Colorado killing themselves with 4 tackling penalties, and Cordell Stewart really struggling at this point. In the SEC, Alabama and Southern Miss. An out-of-conference game for the Tide. Brian Bergdorf's quarterbacking with Jay Barker injured.
Couldn't wait to see how he throw the football. We're subbing for him. Look at Palmer with a catch. And Palmer knows what to do with the football in his hands. Notice how he maintains control of his body. Goes down 53 yards, sets up a field goal.
It was 9-zip with 53 seconds left in the first half. Big Al on hand. Bergdorf from 21 yards out to Tony Johnson. It's Bama 16-zip at the break. In the third quarter, Bergdorf to Palmer one more time. The catch just in the corner of the end zone. 26-0 Alabama. And the run of the day. Brian Steiger gets by defenders. This is a David Palmer impression. Down the sidelines, tight-roping his way, 67 yards for the touchdown. And Alabama pitches the shutout, 40-0 to stay unbeaten and keep those national title hopes alive. Once again, a strong effort for Michael Proctor, who's been one of the best kickers in the country this year. USC and California, homecoming for the Golden Bears, but Rob Johnson and Johnny Morton spoil it. The 7-yard touchdown, 6-zip, they missed the point. It was 12-7 SC in the second. One more time, Johnson to Morton. Beautiful catch in the layout for 36 yards. That would set up this play. Johnson, pump fake, and then Bradford Banta, the 8-yard touchdown, 20-7 Trojans. Second half now, 2 big plays by the Trojan cornerback, Jason Sehorn. Dave Barr looking for Damian Simeon, but Sehorn knocks the ball away, stops a potential touchdown. On the next Cal drive, Barr again, but Sehorn turns around, makes the interception in the end zone, Craig.
You see Sehorn, Chris, he makes the play by looking back for the ball, then shields Simeon from it. Excellent play.
A couple of more touchdowns, and it was the Bears who were hibernating. 42-14 as the Trojans spoil homecoming, a very important game for their bowl chances. Rob Johnson continues to put up Charlie Ward-like numbers without the kind of success that his team has had. Washington and Arizona State are tied 7-7 late in the first quarter. The Sun Devils trying to regroup after a very disappointing season. And Stanford comes up with their first victory in Pac-10 play, 31-27 at home over the Beavers. Stenstrom 7 straight 300-yard games. Oregon and Washington State 39-23 now. So much frustration against their bitter rivals in recent years. They would try to put an end to that today. In the slop in Jacksonville, Georgia down 7, 13 seconds. Eric Zier was brilliant all day. He finds Hassan Graham, first down. 5 seconds to go. Zier. Jeremy German for the apparent touchdown, but wait a second. Just before the ball was snapped, Florida signaling for a timeout. It's no play. Another chance. Zier to Graham in the corner. Incomplete, out of bounds. But wait again. There comes the yellow hanky. So, one play with no time left. Zier to Jeff Thomas. Just thrown behind him. Steve Spurrier thanking the man upstairs. Once again, they survive.
Yeah, but here's what should have happened. One of two things. Throw the ball right now, Zier, or set up receiver between the two in the pocket right there, and it's an easy 6. Instead, the ball's behind him.
And instead, the 4th straight agonizing loss for Georgia against Florida. Zier, absolutely brilliant. A school record 65 pass attempts, 36 of them complete, 384 yards. But the Dogs now must beat Auburn and Georgia Tech to be eligible for a bowl bid. The Gators are cruising in the SEC.
Also brilliant, Eric Rett. Those stats in the rain and the mud, I said before, I think he's the most versatile back player.
See, Volunteers in control all afternoon. Charlie Garner on the second play from scrimmage, 60 yards for the touchdown, 7-0 Tennessee. South Carolina, they were thinking pass here, and Heath Schuler, the play fake freezes them. Corey Fleming is breaking open, 43-yard touchdown, wide open. Fleming's 8th touchdown for the year, fouls up 31-3, and the cheerleaders a workout. Back to the ground game. James Stewart busts through the Carolina defense. The nice 53-yard run. Tennessee pulled away, and South Carolina, the wheels have come off as they go to 4-5. But Tennessee has to be upset that Georgia couldn't get it done. They still trail Florida in the SEC race. Right?
You usually have to worry about Heath Schuler, but today look at Garner and Stewart.
8-0, the first time 8-0 since 71. And Kentucky very much in the hunt for a nice bowl game. They beat Mississippi State 26-17. They haven't been to a bowl since '84. Big 8, K-State is for real. Oklahoma, the 3rd straight tough test for the Wildcats. They led 7-0 in the 3rd, and then Chad May found Kevin Lockett, who's really coming on this year, 14-0. Lockett's 4th touchdown catch. And then May, who can also scramble and throw well on the run, decides to keep it on the option, a 2-yard run, 21-0. They are blowing out the Sooners. The 3rd time in 56 years K-State has won over Oklahoma. The 2nd time this year the fans swarmed the field. Thankfully, no injuries in Manhattan. The Sooners dropping to 6-2. And Kansas State, if only they had gone for it and beaten Colorado instead of settling for the tie, where might they have been now? Kansas beats Oklahoma State 13-6 to go to 4-5. Oklahoma State outscored 10-0 in the second half. In a wild one, Missouri records a home field comeback victory over Iowa State 37-34. Kyle Pooler kicking the field goal as time expired. Now to Michigan and Wisconsin, a 6-3 Badger lead in the second quarter, 38 seconds before halftime, when Terrell Fletcher on the inside trap gets into the end zone, 13-3 Badgers. It stayed that way until the 4th quarter. Todd Collins trying to move Michigan, picked off by Jeff Messenger, and the badly underthrown ball, he just kind of turned around and boom, the ball was there, but he did grab Alexander before the ball got there. And on their final possession, Wolverines trying to rally. Collins, once again, pressured, sacked by Yusef Burgess and Mike Thompson. And Wisconsin holds on for the 13-10 victory. Darrell Bevel is swarmed. But again, fans storming the field knock over that chain-link retaining fence. 3 critically injured in Madison hospitals, marring this monumental victory for the Badgers. 13-10 is the final. But now, it's the students' reaction to the injuries following the game. Jumped on the Irish in the first half. Jim Kubiak to Jim's screen. Yes, it is a screen pass. A touchdown, 24-17 middies at the half, and Holtz got what he wanted, a chance to motivate his team and light a fire. He did so, and they came out strong in the 3rd quarter. Randy Kinder takes the pitch, weaves through middies. There's the breakaway speed, 70 yards for a touchdown. Then later in the 4th quarter, the interception by Bobby Taylor. He takes it back, and Notre Dame, after trailing at halftime for the first time since '91, blows it open, 58-27, outscoring the Middies 41-3 in the second half. They have the off week before Florida State. But he does have bruised cartilage in his sternum. The latest report out of Tallahassee is that Ward will try to practice and does expect to play against Maryland next week. Now, before Ward left, he was very effective. 4th and 5 for Florida State, rolling out, lofting the pass to Kes McCorvey for the first down. Clarence Williams would score. It was 10-zip Seminoles. Tough to keep the ball dry. That was the biggest challenge for the Noles in Tallahassee. A dry ball didn't help Wake Forest. The pass out here picked off Clifton Abraham, taking off Jim Kemp, takes it back 29 yards on the high step. 17-0 Seminoles. It was 27-0 in the second quarter. They go to the bag of tricks. Clay Shiver snaps the ball directly to Warwick Dunn. Forget about it. 63 yards, 34-0 Florida State. 6 carries, 162 for Dunn. Just before halftime, the play that Florida State fans feared might turn their season around in a negative way. Ward taken off, but again, the rib injury doesn't appear to be that serious. Florida State rolling on, 1 game away from the big showdown at South Bend, November the 13th. Virginia losing to NC State 34-29. The Wolfpack have won 4 in a row, 3 of them with fourth-quarter comebacks, so a 3-way tie for second in the ACC. Carolina, Virginia, and Clemson. NC State is a half game back. Clemson blanking Maryland 29-0 as Derek Witherspoon had a big ball game, 2 touchdowns, and Georgia Tech pounding Duke 47-14. The Jackets at 3 and 5. Dorsey Levens rushing for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns, but no bowl chance for Georgia Tech. Destiny in this wild conference race. Third quarter, Fresno State attempts the pitch pass. Number 29 of Wyoming, the DB Steve Hendricks, runs face first into the fence, head snapping back. He left the game, but he was banged up and okay. Fourth quarter, Wyoming down by 11. Joe Hughes to Ryan Yarbrough for the touchdown. 2-point conversion good. Wyoming trailing 28-25. 22 seconds to go. Hughes to Mike Jones over the middle for the game winner. The Cowboys going 62 yards on 11 plays. Wyoming, a winner at home over Fresno, 32-28 to go to 7-1. They remain unbeaten in the WAC. BYU beaten by Utah State 58-56, the first win over the Cougars since 1982. San Diego State suffers their first loss in the WAC, 45-41, as the Utes drove the length of the field in the final seconds. Jamal Anderson, 23 carries, 156 yards, and 3 touchdowns. CSU beats New Mexico 21-20, the 4th loss by a field goal or less for Los Lobos. Air Force over UTEP, 31-10, the first win for the Falcons over a 1A team all year. Miami and Temple, we knew this would be ugly. Dennis Erickson, strategy working as he goes to Ryan Collins, who has really sparked the offense. In the second quarter, a tie game at 7-7. Collins scrambling, finds A.C. Tellison, and then shows why he's a double threat here. Throwing and also running. In the third quarter, finds some running room down the sidelines. He will tightrope 51 yards all the way for the touchdown. Lee, he's done what Erickson wanted him to.
Okay, let me show you the reason why this works. Watch number 49 at the bottom of your picture right there. He's a linebacker playing man-for-man with a linebacker. That leaves an open area for that guy. He's not that fast. That's got to be fast, because Ryan Collins can really help them with that running game.
Ran for 2, threw for 2, had 3 potential TDs dropped as Temple crossed midfield only twice.
Ryan Collins has done exactly what Dennis Erickson wanted to do. He gives him a rushing threat.
In the snow at Cincy. An early white Christmas. 10-3 Memphis State in the first quarter. Lance Hart to the senior Albert Sweet. They connect in the snow. The 55-yard scamper ties the ball game at 10. Later in the second quarter, Steve Matthews to Isaac Bruce. DB slipping and sliding back there. A 23-yard touchdown, 17-10. Tigers at the break. In the third quarter, David Small takes it in from 2 yards out, ties it at 17-17. It's 20-20 in the final minute. Wait a second. It's shades of the Patriots game a few years ago. They come out, they shovel off the spot for the field goal. Is that legal? The chip shot by Tom Dowling is good from 23 yards out. And Cincinnati goes to 6-3, a critical win for their bowl chances. And Memphis State, a big loss for their chances. They dropped to 4-4. Texas, speaking of bowl chances, a critical game against Tech and Bevo. Looking mangy, most like the Longhorns team this year. Tech in white, 10-zip already when Robert Hall finds Lloyd Hill at 17-0 in the fourth quarter. It's 17-6, 4th and 6 for Shea Morenz, but he finds Mike Adams in the corner. It's 17-14 after the two-pointer. Back come the Longhorns. Driving later in the fourth quarter, Morenz drops back, he's hit, and Marcus Coleman steps in, takes it back 54 yards for the touchdown, and Texas dropping to 2-4-1 as Texas Tech keeps their bowl hopes alive at 3-5. The fourth win for the Red Raiders in Austin in only 25 tries. A&M, it wasn't easy, but they finally pull away from the Ponies, 37-13. Greg Hill rushing for 130 yards. TCU over Houston at home, 28-10 to level the record.
Visit UCLA, they lost 54-14. Gorgeous night. Bruins striking first. First quarter, Wayne Cook, 36-yard pass to J.J. Stokes. 7-0 UCLA. Second quarter, backup QB Brady Batten in for Dan White, who left with an injury, picked off by Marvin Goodwin. The Wildcat offense was struggling, and the turnover set up Cook, who's back to pass, hits Kevin Jordan in the end zone. A 14-yard TD, and Cook loves it. 20-0 UCLA. Second half, more of the same. Arizona couldn't hang on to the ball. Chuck Levy goes up the middle. Levy loses it. UCLA recovers. That sets up another TD. Bruins feeling good. They win 37-17. UCLA now tied for the Pac-10 lead with Arizona and USC. The 37 points allowed by Arizona, the most since '91 when they lost 37-14 to Arizona State. UCLA scored 27 points off 5 Arizona turnovers.
With Arizona State, Jake Plummer looking deep, and he's got him. Johnny Thomas, 57 yards for the score. First quarter, Arizona State a 16-7 lead in the third. Sun Devils trail 17-6. Mario Bates makes Swiss cheese out of that Huskies defense, goes 29 yards. That would be his second touchdown of the day. Arizona State took the lead 26-17. They go on to win it 32-17. You know, Washington came in as the nation's 6th best rush defense. Arizona State ran right through them. Quarterback Cheney gets the ball. He also a nifty run, 17 yards for the only touchdown that was scored in the game. Indiana wins it 10-0. MSU running back Dwayne Goulbourne, 7 carries for 10 yards after rushing for 213.
And watch Anderson go. 100 yards for the return. 27-21 Utah State with the lead. Fourth quarter, 44-35 Utah State. John Wall steps back and fires. It's Tyler Anderson catching it, and he's gone. You remember Kevin Porter used to play basketball in the NBA, used to do the KP strut, the high step. There's another one for you right there. Touchdown. The day belonged to Utah State's Anthony Calvillo. He finds Aubrey Thompson for Calvillo's 5th touchdown pass of the day. Utah State holds on 58-56. Calvillo had 5 TD passes and 2 TD runs. It was the Aggies' first win over BYU since 1982. In the loss, John Walsh had a career day, 27 of 44 for a BYU school record 619 yards passing. Rounding out the top 25, West Virginia spanks Syracuse. Texas A&M stops SMU. And let's check some more scores from college football Saturday.